Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome to another Sunday Sync. We've got four of us on so far, and I'm sure more will join. So, any hot topics or any opens people want to start with?
Did anyone listen to was on Zuber's thing this morning?
I probably did. Was it the rate one or the bank
Yeah,
one?
yeah, no, it's that property radar. Property radar.
Oh, that thing. I wanted to make that. I couldn't. We last minute
I
last
don't.
night. I didn't
I
make
was
it. How was
only I was only there for half the time, and one of my questions was, and nobody answered it the first 30 minutes that I was able to be on was if it really would be a good idea to have that program if you just are buying items that aren't off market, if that means, or you know what I'm saying? If you just want to gain the data, I guess I'm saying to maybe better position yourself with your real estate agent and the buyer or the seller, sorry, seller.
did
And
anybody here make that property radar meeting?
Yes, it did. And
Oh,
I've
I
done
did,
other things with
I,
Deal Chance too.
I did
The
that.
thing I like about Property Radar is it's a research engine. So if you want to deep dive into some of the stuff you'd normally have to go down to the county, it'll give you a lot of that information.
Okay.
That's what, but and then the biggest thing too is you can also turn it off and on. So you can have it for 1 month and then turn it off for the next month. So that's because right after Deal Champs, I signed up for it, but then I just don't have the time to look into it. So I'm going to sign back up for it probably next month. But it's for research. It's free. It's awesome. And then if you're looking into do that, I don't know how long you stayed on, but if you're looking to do automatic stuff where you want to actually call people and do some off market calling and not necessarily wholesaling, but your own deals and try to do them yourself, it can automatically do that. You just got to figure out how to do it. It's a great tool, that's for sure.
they recorded it, right, Jim?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he already posted it.
Oh, really? Yeah, I got to
Yeah,
go watch
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think he posted it. I know the benefits as, to get the off market deals or the creative financing, because I know he was like kind of going from last week's to this week's when he interviewed Stephen, the 50-40-10. So he was kind of pressing that this could help with those creative financing deals that, we might be looking for. My question is, could it be used as, and I think, uh, I can't think of your name, the grumpy contractor.
Jim.
Jim, sorry, Jim. I think that what you said was exactly what I was looking for is the research part of it, because, you can ask your real estate agent for some of that information, but I don't think you're going to get all that information that was presented today when they were going through, kind of where you can really narrow it down. I mean, I was amazed at how much information you could get.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do like some bear paw or something his name does with I can't remember her name. Somebody else where I'll take those postcards and stuff. Once I get the information, I'm gonna hand that off to my agents and let them deal with it because I don't have the time or the bandwidth to deal with that part of it. I got way too much other stuff going on. So I'll pay that extra 3% for them to do it. I've already talked to them about it. Where they do that legwork once they get the lead, at least they're making money on something else, especially in this climate right now. Agents are going to be loving something like that.
Yeah, you're gonna pay that fee with a wholesaler anyway. Might as well.
Yeah, correct. And then I don't have to deal with it. They can handle all the negotiations. I'm not really a people person either. So I'll let them try it for the first couple and see how it goes.
You trying to say something, Robert, or you want a bad connection?
No,
Oh,
no, sorry. I'm working outside. Cars are driving by. Sorry.
that's okay. Hi, Lena.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Very nice meeting you.
Yeah, same.
I've seen a few people already, but this is my first Sunday.
What
Yeah.
market are you in?
I live in New Jersey, but I'm learning to figure out where my buy box is going to be.
Man, if it's in New Jersey, I saw the taxes recently, like a month ago. That's brutal.
So I know I need to find my buy box outside of the New Jersey, but like Michael say, it has to have some kind of context. Some people have relatives or friends or some kind of organic connection to out of state investment locations, and I have none of it. So for me, it's just thinking, looking, deciding. Oh,
My 12-week companion here. This is Maple.
the youngest investor.
Yeah, yeah. She's a little stinker. She's chewing up.
What kind of dog is that? Is that a beagle mix?
It's a St. Charles something with a little bit of beagle. Cavalier, St. Charles Cavalier. I don't know what the hell that is, but anyway.
I don't either.
Yeah, but she's cute, but she tears up everything. So she's sitting here. She tore up one of my contracts. Obviously had it in soft copy, but I printed
The
it
dog
off.
ate it, right?
What's that?
The dog ate your homework.
Yeah. Well, I'd already bought the house and I came home and
So it's like a shredder.
dude, that's what my son almost named her that too, because her teeth are just, and she's cute though, but little.
But you needed to shred it anyway, so there you go.
Shit. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they wore me down. Like after 2 years, I was like, fine, get a dog. Oh well. If you guys want to hear what I did, which was probably an $8,000 mistake, I can let you in on that.
Cool. Yeah, I like to hear about mistakes.
Well, it wasn't, I guess it was real estate related, but it has to do with timing. So we bought that Gilbert house and the construction was supposed to take 4 to 5 weeks. Well, they finished it in like 2.5, 3 weeks. So I wasn't ready. And they sent me all the pictures and videos and I'm like, crap. So busy W-2, whatever, that's an excuse. I didn't get around to getting either a real ID or a passport. So, and I just really didn't want to do the real ID. I procrastinated. Anyway, May 7th, the cutoff. So I could have flown down and flown back, but I didn't do that. So now I'm probably going to end up paying a mortgage payment or two more than I'd planned on because I won't have it ready in time for, going live. Because I got to go down there, set everything up, order all the equipment and everything. I do rent by room, Elena, if you don't know, and that requires I furnish and put
So
smart
Jared,
locks and all that. Yeah.
you aren't gonna need so if you're willing to wait at the airport and you're willing to take extra time going through security, it was just posted on the news that they're still letting you through, but bring extra ID stuff. So
Really?
bring extra like a utility bill, bring if you've got anything that has other ID, because what it is they're just trying to verify that you are who you are. So if you
Yeah.
bring extra stuff and you're willing to sit there, so just get to the airport extra early, you can get through. They're not,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
because they don't want to, not everybody's got through that May 7th thing, and they knew it. They knew they were trying to push that and it wasn't going to happen. So, and there's always procrastinators. So they're not going to stop travel, but they're going to make you wait and go through extra
Hmm.
security.
You don't have a passport?
I do, but so here's what happened. And the wife and I tried to piece this together. So in what was it, April was it last year? No, this year. When did we buy? Anyway, one of the houses we bought, I didn't know how much stuff I would need in Arizona, so I flew down there and I brought everything with me. I brought my passport, my social security card, and my birth certificate, and signed all the paperwork, all that stuff. And I thought I'd put it back in my laptop bag, which I'm pretty sure I did. But my mother-in-law had bought me a new laptop bag, and I didn't realize on the bottom of it had a zipper for some stupid reason. And I flew back home and I got off the plane and I heard some jingling around. I looked back and there's this trail of change. And so I think it either fell out, and it's the worst thing to lose too. So, but I didn't realize that. I realized I lost my passport, but I was like, oh well, I only had a year left on it anyway. It'd been expired by now anyway. So I was like, oh, no big deal. Well, we didn't realize it until about, I don't know, a week ago when I was going to fly down there that, oh my God, because I went and looked in the safe, and in the safe, none of my stuff was there. I was like, oh shit. So I got online and used it. I got my birth certificate coming the 8th. And after that, I'll do the passport and I'll skip the real ID thing. So I'll expedite the passport. I think it takes like a month if you pay extra or whatever it is. So it is what it is. I'm a
Oh,
Dumas.
well, one other option for you is to get all your stuff purchased, have it delivered, and see if a stager can put it all together for you.
Yeah, I don't have anybody in Gilbert. I I'm gonna order some of the stuff's pretty small, and I'll just order it before and pretty quick. So I'll order it right before I fly down. But there's big stuff too, like beds and mattresses and all that stuff. So
But why not hire a staging company? It'd only take them a couple days, and it's going to save you money.
yeah, well, they're about 10 grand. So
Well, that's using their product. What about just assembling stuff that you're having delivered?
yeah, I think it's about 6 grand. It's not much different. So
Wow. Then hire a handyman.
yeah, I've done that before actually. So that's a good idea. I might do that actually. I got a couple of handyman guys.
Is renting by the room furnished then, Jared?
It's either or, like you can furnish or unfurnished. I was gonna do about half furnished, but then I thought about it. I was like, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy all this stuff and have it and only furnish half the rooms and keep the other I got a storage shed at this particular house and I'll keep all the other stuff out there. And if somebody runs to rent unfurnished, I can. And if they don't, then I'll just put it in. So we'll play
Where
it
do
by
you
ear.
buy from? What are your suppliers that you prefer?
I've got Amazon for a lot of it, but the mattresses I buy locally from a company there. And then I think that's the only local stuff I do. I use the Sensi thermostat, and then I use the Sifely locks, and then oh Jesus, getting attacked here. So yeah, Sifely locks and the Wise cameras. So and then I have to have the electrician come out. I like to put outlets up where I want the cameras. Like in the laundry room, I'll need one, and the hallway, and then kitchen. I'll probably need some setup so I can actually plug them in. Yeah.
Is the kitchen a common area? And what's the minimum stay?
12 weeks, unless they want to pay 175 bucks, then it's 31 days. But it has to be over 31 days so you don't have that short term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. This one's gonna be different. I'll run it and see what people want to do. They want to do like a 3 month lease, 6 month lease, hopefully a year lease. But with the year lease, I'm gonna have to have showings and I'll have to leverage somebody local because I'm not local. So cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So what other people have going on? I see Logan on. I don't know if I've talked to Logan before. Have I? Logan's quiet. I think I've seen the rest of the people there. Okay.
I'm working on it. I've already talked about this before, but I'm working on buying this house in Florida. It's like deeply discounted. I get a lot of equity day one, but working on the finance piece of it. And I don't have the cash to bring to the closing because I can't, I don't know anybody who can finance. I can finance it through my HELOC, through my home, my primary home. But that's probably what I'll end up doing, honestly, because it's just a good deal. But it's interesting because it was on, someone had put it on the post, like, cash flow versus like appreciation or equity.
Oh, Jack. Yeah.
Someone, and I think it was Brandon Potts or somebody who like just posted to that. I was like, why do you have to make a choice between the two? Which is, it resonated with me because it's like the cash flow, in an HOA community in Florida is I'll probably not make that much. But I mean, the appreciation is day one, I get 30% equity first day I purchase it because that's just, that's the bargain I found. So that's how bad the person wants to get out of it. So it's like, well, I'd rather have the cash flow, honestly, but I guess I should probably just go ahead and take the equity. Right. So that's kind of what I'm struggling with right now.
Yeah, it depends on your goals.
Yeah. I mean, the goals are to make some money, I guess.
Yeah, I had to, that I think one of the strongest things you can do is being able to say no to something, right? Like I've had a couple of good deals, but they wouldn't have hit my cash flow goals. And so I passed on them, right? And it ended up being a good thing because 2 months later I found the Gilbert house and I'm like, perfect. And it actually is kind of a hybrid. So it
Uh-huh.
cash flows over my $1,000 limit, very conservatively about 1,200. It might hit 1,600, something like that, which is
Mhm.
less than the other properties. But I paid more for it, so the debt structure, and I only put 5% down. So there's there's
Mhm.
that. So my cash on cash is great, but the cash flow still good for that cash on cash, but it's also more of a kind of a half-ass appreciation play because it's Gilbert. So I know it's
Mhm.
going to be flat for a while, and that's fine. I'm not betting on it, but it's that area is getting gentrified. The median income overpassed Scottsdale about a year ago. I mean, everything's going that way. So, buying the path of progress and see what happens. So at
Yeah,
the
it
end of the
might be.
day, as long as the properties pay for itself, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, that's I mean, worst case is like I buy it, I've got, 30-40% of equity day one. If I can just flip it, like, just fix it up and sell it, right? I've made a lot of money.
Have you looked
Um,
at days on market in that
yeah,
area?
I have. I'm like really focused in on that data, really, like really honed in on it. So I totally know that data. So if you price it right, obviously anything, right? If you price it perfectly and it's the best house in that neighborhood, it'll sell in 2 weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
right? I mean, right? If I'm as good as everybody else around there, but like $10,000 cheaper, like someone will come in there and want to buy every month and they'll buy it. So
Is
I
the
mean,
insurance an issue wherever that market's at in Florida?
insurance is an issue in every place in Florida, I think, right now. So it's like, I'm estimated to be like $3,000 a year, but and
Oh,
it's
that's
I
not bad.
mean it's a little duplex, right? So it should be like if it was in Missouri, I mean, I'd probably be paying half that.
Yeah.
But being in Florida, right, it's 3,000 a year. So nothing I can do about that.
I'm really interested to find out if, like, say, Florida, I think Texas has some stuff going on too, but this property tax thing where they're trying to nuke it or reduce it. Really curious if that gains some traction.
Yeah, I saw some stories, but I didn't read through those stories about property taxes. And the one that interests me is the Florida story, and I didn't follow up with
Yeah.
any of those. I just saw the headlines, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Be nice. Also rates, if the rates come down in say
Yeah,
Q4.
now that the rates come down, it totally cash flows after that. It comes down to like 4.5, 4.5% in 2 years. Oh yeah, it totally cash flows then instantly. I mean, it barely cash flows if I skip on some things, but if it were to come down to 4%, it totally cash flows then.
Do you have reserves to handle any bumps?
That's the problem, right? So that's the gotcha. It's like it cash flows if I don't put in like heavy reserves, which obviously I don't want. I'd rather be baking lots of reserves, but no, it doesn't. I can't do a lot of capex. I can't do a lot of like uh, uh, just fix up things that I want to do because I want to build some cash with it.
How old is the
So
property?
it is, let's see, 1980-ish. So
Damn, dude.
85. It's not like brand new or anything, right?
Like if something happens, what would you do? Would you like pull from a credit card?
I'd probably pull from the HELOC loan.
HELOC. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, things are getting tight. I mean, the last couple loans I've done, the stack of papers went from here to here to here. It's getting stupid. And
is
then
it?
I just did a credit card thing for 0% because
Yeah.
I've got one that's going to 15%. And something I noticed was they're not doing 0% on anything. It's only transfers, and the transfer rate is 4%. It used to be like one or two, maybe a three. Now it's
What
4%.
does it mean transfer port? I don't do any
Like
credit
they
cards.
won't
So
do 0% on anything you put on it. It's only transfers from other balances.
so it's 4% on your transfer amount.
Yeah, and then it's 4% on the transfer. I'm like, wow, this is some BS. So I might,
So you have to transfer and pay it off. Otherwise, you're getting hit 4% a month.
yeah, and I might just put it on the HELOC because my HELOC is 6.99. So I worked out the math. It's like $64 a month in interest versus the 400 it would be
Uh-huh.
transfer. And I would
Right.
only have it on there for a month. So $64 versus 400, no
Right.
brainer, just do the HELOC.
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. I've kind of enlisted my wife to help me. One of the neighbors does these. She's got like, I don't know, a whole bunch of credit cards, like 60 or something. And because we asked them, we like, how do you guys travel so much?
60?
Yeah. And she
That's
wrote,
insane.
it's a shitload of cards, and she has all the, oh, and here's a tip for you that I didn't even think about. Duh. When we do credit cards, I just always do my wife and I. But she had a tip for us. She said, told my wife, she's like, no, 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 no. Get a card under your husband's name and a card under your name, and then get the points on both. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. I just assumed that it was one household. So
That's the main way I do vacations.
yeah,
I have a crap ton of points.
we've done that too, but not to this scale. Like these people are taking, and granted, he runs a huge commercial electrical company. Um, and I love this guy's view. I hate this guy. He bought a house a couple houses down from me, and our backyard is these massive trees, which is cool. But his property has this view of the mountain. It's absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, sorry, I digress. But yeah, so they travel like every month. And hey, babe, where are the Lucy's parents at? Costa Rica, right? So they just got back from Italy or wherever the hell. I was like, Jesus. And the Maldives, sorry, wherever. But they do all this on credit card points. I'm like, that's freaking genius, you know? Like I've used them for onesie twosies and all my utilities, but I didn't, you know, it's a full-time job doing that stuff. So the wife's gonna do that. She loves that stuff.
Yeah, put everything on credit card. All your materials, everything, anything you can possibly put on credit card, put it on credit card.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. I even got my utilities on there.
Yeah.
So
I was doing that in my younger days when I was in college, just getting started with that was our hack for traveling, pretty much. They used to do companion passes for Southwest, things like that. And
Alaska,
you'd be able to sign up for 2 years essentially that you'd be able to whenever you fly, you can essentially bring a partner for free. And
yeah,
now it's called credit card churning. You're essentially getting points for bonuses and then you rotate them every 2 years or so. Oh, it it's it's a lot of moving parts, but if you know how to do it, you get a lot of free points.
right.
Just from bonuses, you want to get the big hits, and then you sort of close that out and do that whole thing. So I used to accumulate. I think I accumulated like 1 million points. And I wasn't making a lot of money. It was just you could buy. There are a lot of like workarounds. You could buy gift cards. So I'd buy gift cards to pay things off, like, and those gift cards, like you go to a Target, you buy a gift card, and it's a gift card for like I don't know, some sort of MasterCard, right? It's a $50 MasterCard. Well, now you're paying your bills with that, $50 that you just spent over there. So it's almost like you're working around it a little bit. But
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So you're paying it off every month. That's my assumption, right? You're paying off
oh yeah,
credit
I
every.
mean, yeah,
That's
there's
the
no
only way
point in
this
actually
works.
keeping a balance on it, right?
There's no way this works otherwise.
Exactly. Otherwise, the 5% that you're getting or the 3% here, whatever it is not really working. Um, you put a balance on it and then you pay it off every month, essentially. But you're trying to do that to get the bonus
Yeah.
in the beginning. So, they say you spend $5,000, but really you're not really spending $5,000. You're buying gift cards that you can either spend later or you use your gift cards to pay off your balance.
Yeah. Hey, Giancarlo, I want to get back to this. I don't want this
That's
to
what
be.
I'm doing. I was just gonna say, like right now, just to hit a sign up bonus on a credit card, I'm using a credit card to pay one of my mortgages. That's a seller finance. I'm just using the credit card to
Oh,
write in the check until I hit the bonus. Now there's fees with that, but I'm only gonna end up paying like $60 in fees for like $1,000 bonus. So I'm going at it.
yeah. So Giancarlo, I think
Yeah.
the point in me bringing up the credit and the tightening and all that is because
Yeah.
if you are leveraging your HELOC, what happens if your HELOC freezes, right? And it goes into an amortized loan, which if you look at your documents, probably it's going to say something like a 60-day notice, and then whatever balance you have will turn into an amortized loan for 20 years or whatever it is. So if that happens, do you have another way out if you need CapEx or issues come up?
Well, thanks for bringing that up. I'll have to look at the HELOC terms really closely. But plan is to get it rented, right? So it cash flows barely without like big CapEx or big obviously if the HVAC were to go out, that would be a problem. Yeah, I don't know where I'd pull the cash if the HVAC went out, $15,000 or whatever that would cost.
Yeah,
I think it's what an HVAC goes for these days, right?
yeah. Hey, Robbie, what's up?
Yeah, I have a question on HELOC, right? I opened my HELOC account to fund my first property, and then I refinanced and paid off the HELOC. Now I have a zero balance. It's been 4 years. I know that, like, they have, 10 years period, right, where I can draw money. After 10 years, it goes into, that amortized, whatever that.
Amortized
Yeah,
portion, which is like, for me, it's like, I think it's after 10 years and it goes
yeah,
principal
yeah.
and
So,
interest, right?
yeah, my question is, can I close HELOC and then apply for a new
Just
HELOC?
just
So it is.
refinance it, just like you did.
Yeah.
Just refinance. That's what I did. I went from 105K HELOC to, because things went nuts in inflation in the last 4 years or whatever it was. So I just refinanced the 105 to a 240K HELOC. Just put more from the equity, and I did that, to give myself room, but also my debt to income looks better, because that way, if I take out, like, say if I had 105, it's called 100, and I took out 50 grand, I'm 50% of that debt. So I know they look at your total debt, but in that particular one, I like to stay under 30% on any debt I have. So that 240, if I take out 50, I'm at 80 right now, by the way, which I've never been past. Well, I've been up to 60 before, but I'm at
Mhm.
80. So I oscillate up and down, up and down, up and down, because I'm doing velocity banking. But yeah, so
Okay.
you just refinance it.
Just refinance. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that would be my advice. I don't know your bank or the HELOC or anything. I did that because it didn't cost me much. I'm using PNC Bank, and
Okay.
it's like $50 a year, and there's no, I mean, it's low overhead as far as cost. A lot of them I were looking at 285 seemed to be the number. It's probably higher now. And the
Mhm.
thing that pissed me off about those was they made you do an initial draw off the
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. So PNC didn't force any of that. So, and it was
Okay.
$50 a year. So
Yeah. So
Was
I
there,
work for a bank, right? So they gave me, no fee.
nice.
So I had the HELOC.
I had like a $500 penalty for doing something, and I didn't catch that when but I mean, I'm gonna talk to him about that, but if I wonder what the $500 penalty was about. Probably if you pay it off too soon, I've got to ask them about that.
Ooh,
Because
I would look into that.
you guys any idea what they were talking about?
I don't know, but hopefully it's not an early payoff, because then you're not really doing a HELOC. I mean, at least, I mean, you are, but I don't like those weird things in there like that.
Yeah, he didn't talk about it really. He just mentioned it in passing. Oh yeah, there's a $500 penalty, and I didn't follow up. He moved on to the next thing really quick.
Yeah, like if you guys do DSCR loans, I've done a couple. A lot of those will have a prepayment penalty, 5 years by default. Well, if you do what I did, which some people think I'm dumb, some people don't, I don't know. I went ahead and paid the extra upfront on both DSCRs for a 1 year prepayment penalty. Basically, I'm paying the interest so they get paid in case I pay it off. But I did that because I want to refi. I've got a 7.65 on one and a 7.5 on another. So I'm kind of waiting for the opportune moment. I'm past the 1 year mark now, so I'm waiting for, hopefully Q4 this year rates will drop. If you guys watch SOFR, the overnight funding rate, it's screaming lower for longer. So I'm hoping that comes to fruition. And I do know what that means. I know the economy is going to be in a shit show, but hey, I can't stop that. So might as well refinance if something happens. You guys have been seeing the news, right? With UPS laying off 20,000, Intel 21,000 or whatever, and all that. I'm at Intel, and I was told last week, hey, be prepared, give me a name or two. And I'm like, holy crap, I didn't think we'd get hit, but we are.
Yeah.
Who's the guy on YouTube you said accurately is predicting this? Was it Eurodollar, University, or
Eurodollar University? That guy he's like a bond expert, and he basically follows the bond market.
I've been following him for 2 years, and he's been right every time. Like back when the rates, remember when the Fed was going to not cut, stay higher for longer? He was saying, nope, not only are they going to cut 25, they're going to cut 50. And I'm like, this guy's smoking crack. They cut 50. I'm like, that's when he got my attention. And I was like, wow. So he's been right.
What's the person name? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Jeff Snyder. And the guy is, you can just look at him and know he's hardcore finance guy.
I watched him for like 6 months, not knowing what the hell he's talking about because he's boring as hell.
Yes.
And you got to go out and read. Basically, you got to go out and pick up a book about bonds and read it. And then and then he'll start making sense to you. And then it's actually enjoyable to watch after that.
Yeah.
But if you're a newbie to bonds, good luck.
The reason it's exciting is I don't do bond. Oh, actually, I do. I do T-bills, 4-week T-bills that roll over, but that's not long term, so it really doesn't apply. But I watch it to try to follow macro and trends and get a feel for things. Now I'm older, so I've been through the 2008, 2001, and hell, I even remember the 18% rates when I was a kid. So I've been through this a few times, but now a lot of this is making sense. And so listening to people like that, I do watch George Gammon, but he kind of goes off the rails sometimes, but he's more entertaining at least. And I listen to some of the big boys that are into this just to kind of get a feel. And, it's not going to change anything, but I could at least be prepared, right? Like I started opening up files with multiple brokers. And so I'm ready to do my next thing should I need to refi or, the next purchase. So you guys saw on Zuber's thing about some of the DSCR lenders kind of getting a little skittish with things. So that's another reason I was mentioned, Giancarlo, about, if your HELOC freezes up, man, that could be bad. So I wouldn't.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely
count
right.
on that.
I'll definitely read through the details. And that's a really good question to ask the lender.
That happened to Matt the Lumberjack in 2008.
Yeah. And it probably will happen, the next year or two. I mean, I wouldn't put it out of, out of perspective. I mean, that's a possibility. I definitely don't want to be there.
So Robert, you were saying something? I'm sorry. We were going off on the HELOC thing.
Oh no, I was just asking who that was you're talking about because I forgot if it was Neil McCoy Ward or Eurodollar University, but it's Eurodollar University that I should be following.
I've been following that guy because I've never seen anybody be as right as that guy. But it's only been 2 years. But I mean, he's made some, and that, by the way, that call, there was nobody saying 50% drop. Yeah. Nobody. Like it was, everybody's like, oh, you're an idiot. And I think there was like a single digit percentage of people saying that. Even what is it? What's that tool? The Fed, the market tool, the Fed. Anyway, there's some GDP now or whatever the hell it is. And there's a little estimate about if the Fed's going to cut or not. Not that it matters for mortgage rates, but still is kind of a front end of the curve indicator. And he was calling it, and I'm like, wow, that's a pretty ballsy call. And then when it happened, I'm like, holy crap! And he shows the data. He shows why.
He's totally a geek, like 100%, like as geeky as you can get.
I do disagree with him on one thing, though. He swears up and down that the reason the bond jumped and jumped again was because of the liquidity crisis. But man, if you're when the U.S. froze the SWIFT or froze the bonds for the Soviet Union, Russia, whatever you want to call it, that was a huge wake up call to the world, right? Like, wait a minute, if we have our stuff in bonds and they do that to us, dude, you can't tell me that it's a 0% people that are pulling out of bonds for that reason, right? It may be liquidity. Somebody out there saying this, can't remember who it is, but I agree with them, which is it's just like you have like 1% of your portfolio in gold, things like that. I also think that, hey, if you've got, say you're leveraged, or let's say you're 60% in bonds or whatever, or you're a big player, you may pull back to 55, 50, whatever, right? Because you might want to lower your exposure to the bonds, you know what I mean? And that has a huge impact. So I think some of that is going on, especially in Europe.
That gets to be a political thing, actually, to me. And also you got to think about, presidents only stay in office for 4 years, right? And also you got to look at who's still the reserve currency in the world, right? Which one is it? It's the U.S. dollar, right?
Us and who knows?
And that's it, as far as I know.
I'm sticking to real estate, but I was thinking about throwing, I don't know, a few bucks into Bitcoin and a few bucks into just for giggles and let it sit there for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll think about what's going to if the dollar is no longer the reserve currency, who's next? China? Because it's like China's, even though, the U.S. froze the SWIFT banking system, you trust China more?
Yeah, right. That's not going to happen.
Not
Yeah,
not
rather buy a
yeah.
gold, right?
Yeah, you'd rather buy gold. You'd rather
Yeah.
buy gold than the Chinese currency.
Yeah. Oh, you said gold. For a second, I thought you said something else there.
No, sir.
I'm now curious. No, don't say it.
I thought he said goat, like,
Gold.
goat, like
No
tangible
gold.
asset,
You mean commodities? You're talking about
Yeah.
goat
Hey, man,
futures? Goat
don't
futures?
don't knock it. I got a buddy of mine that was in IT, and he's almost done. He married, where the hell did he go? Bali or somewhere? Yeah, Bali or somewhere over there. And he married a local lady there, and they sell pigs. Like, they raise and sell pigs, and it's big money. And I'm like, how much can you get for a pig? And he's like, $800. And I go, well, that's weird. And he goes, I go, how much you pay for him? And he's like, I don't know, it was something like under $100. I'm like, what? Like $50? And you keep him for a year or two, and you fatten him up and sell them. Like, damn. So they have this huge pig farm, and then he also has a rice field. And I'm like, wow, dude, I'd never, thought about that. Interesting. Investing could take you all kinds of weird places, man.
There's all kinds of places you can make money. You just
Yeah.
got to be an expert in like one area.
That's why, for the most part, I think I want to stick to real estate because, hey, man, it's not broke, don't fix it, All right. Looks like Logan unmuted. Logan, you got something to say? Or Ravi, looks like you're unmuted too.
Uh,
Okay. I'm one of those people that has a hard time with silence. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I gotta say something,
The celebrity's in the house.
Uh-oh.
I'm giving Lindsay a hard time.
You guys want to see
Celebrity
something?
here.
Yeah, Jared, you seem pretty extroverted. Are you pretty extroverted?
Oh yeah. Which is weird because I'm in IT. I'm like the one guy. Most
You're
people
probably
in
one
IT are.
guys. Yeah, they are. I mean, I'm an engineer, right? So it's like,
I am in IT.
Oh, are you?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
You want to see something scary, guys?
what's that?
Boom. This is on my HELOC right now.
So what's scary about that?
I'd never been that high before. I don't
I
like
mean,
it.
as long as you're cash flowing it, and you can pay it off each month.
Yeah, here's our positive cash flow. It's about 10.5. But
Uh-huh.
the problem with this is, if you go look here, see, I've got, I didn't put, yeah, I did 10. Yeah, this $3,800, I'm going to have to, so almost 40% of my positive cash flow is going to take a hit for 2 months, which sucks, which
Okay.
pushes my time out to January, which would have been like November. So I don't like it, but whatever.
Yeah, the HELOC kind of makes me nervous a little bit, but it's like I could do a fixed equity off my house too, I guess, and I might do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy. All right, we need to get the juices flowing here, man. What we got? Someone's got something cool going on somewhere, I'm sure.
Someone's got something going on. I've talked about this stupid Florida thing for enough.
What's that?
I said I've talked about my Florida flip enough now, I think.
Yeah, that might be tough. But if you're under the median and, price it right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
That's what I should do. Just buy it, flip it, sell it, take the 50,000 and go buy something that really cash flows.
Yeah. We never flipped a house unless you count a primary I lived in for 1 year and 1 day. I bought it when I was not doing real estate in 2007. Talk about good timing. I bought it for 227, and back then that was expensive, and sold it for 301. Ended up paying $4,000 in taxes. I thought I was going to pay 15 in taxes, but my accountant at the time, John Moon, rest his soul, he was awesome, man. I love that guy. But,
yeah.
Well, Lindsay, what do you got going on, Rockstar? Superstar.
Really out of the ordinary right now, waiting on rehabs to be done. One rehab to be done. These for rent right now, so I'm waiting on a renter.
Lindsay, everybody keeps telling me that they're not necessarily renting in Gary, and I'm hearing opposites.
I think, 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 I think
They're having trouble getting people placed.
Just one of my renters left the property. It might be the subjected to the area because I know I have a new renter already on that property that was was vacant for like maybe 3 weeks. So my properties are single family. Like I don't have any multis. I have
Gotcha.
one duplex, but that's barely been on the market. So I'm gonna see how that plays out. But all of the other ones are single families.
Yeah,
So it might be that
multifamily and or neighborhood by neighborhood.
majority of my renters are Section 8. So if somebody has a Section 8 voucher, it seems to me that they'd rather just keep having their own yard and have like the house instead of an apartment or, you know, share walls with somebody else. That's my reasoning, but we'll see.
Gotcha. And this is the last one you have to get remodeled?
Two. The other one I haven't started.
Oh, you haven't started it yet.
Yeah.
Are you just waiting on timing there?
A private money lender.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide.
Might have secured last night, so I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm trying to decide where I want to go because I have a certain amount of funds, and I'm thinking I'm either going to go there or Poco City. Because Poco City, I can do whatever I want as far as building on my own property. Gary, you can't. I'd have to actually get a contractor's license for there.
Jim, you got the skills to make it work.
Well, yeah, but the problem is I don't want to deal with getting my own contractor's license in another state. That's just a pain in the butt. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, but I want to get that stuff started soon. So I've been talking to, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. But I would need them to get back to me with some numbers so I can actually make a decision.
Millennial Mike or Mikey?
No, actually, it's the agents through, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Probably because I have too many names in my head. What's his, Lindsay, you know his name.
The main broker, but Michael is the one.
No, it's, doggone it. Maybe it is Michael. Michael Santos. Yeah. So he's the main broker and then Angela is just part of it, or?
The main broker and then Michael as one of his team.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah, because I want to get into something soon, so I want to make sure I hit before winter time.
Cash flow killer over there.
Yeah, correct.
So I was hearing something about someone mentioned that the Section 8 housing. There was a article or a discussion on some Trump initiatives to drying up some of that money. So he's churning. It's amazing how much stuff he's churning. Like every day it seems like a new thing.
Yeah, the SBA loan changes already went into effect too. I was like, holy crap, they're moving at light speed.
Yeah, they are. It's like kind of scary, honestly.
I think they're trying to get everything positive before the primary or before the elections, right?
Maybe that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to show positive, like look, this is what we've accomplished, and like have some kind of like net gain to show people. But crazy stuff.
I think the mineral rights in Ukraine add a little bit of pressure for China that they were trying to withhold. Now the U.S. has another avenue, so and we can withhold the ethylene or whatever the hell it is they use to make plastics in China. So it's an interesting cat and mouse, chicken game of financial global chicken we're playing right now.
Yes, exactly. It's just like, oh my God.
Thing is, though, I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, to me, the economy is bigger than anything, bigger than anything. But I mean, it's the tidal wave's coming. It's not like you can turn that on a dime, right? So the momentum that's behind this negative trend. I know the data shows whatever it shows, but job losses, the way things are going, you're not going to turn that on a dime. So there's going to be some impact for at least a year and a half, something like that. I'm thinking, unless you just come out guns ablazing, like hope this tax, if the tax thing passes. And I even heard, this is the stupidest thing ever, but they're talking about $5,000 stimulus checks for different things, and didn't haven't we learned anything? But no, apparently not. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but even then, it's going to take some time. Even the upper echelon 10 percenters, 20 percenters, and the top tier are pulling back. But now with the stock, S&P, or what was the S&P hit 9-day trend or something like that, kind of recovered. Maybe I still think, when you got Buffett pulling out and, Mark Cuban pulling out, sitting in cash or bonds, it took them a year and a half to get there by bleeding off every day. There's a big tidal wave coming, I think, but we'll see what happens.
You know what happened if you look at like TA, that the S&P's 500 of like this rapid rise only happens during bear markets. Like the pattern it formed, like it's like, I forget some guy who said it, but it's like, oh, like the rise we just saw in the S&P 500, where it was like so positive for all these consecutive days, only happened like during 2001 and 2008. So it's like, yeah, it's called a bear market bounce. It's going to go down probably.
Yeah, I think so. I don't play it, but it's the same thing that in a way, how you're talking about the rise and then the bear dip and then it comes back up. Well, with the housing market, all these stats come out year over year, year over year. Who gives a crap, right? Year over year, last year was horrible. You know what I mean? And it's not like it's a great jump, right? If you compare back to say maybe 2019, 2018, okay, then you're talking, something that's somewhat relative stable. You know what I mean? Like this last 4 years is just a joke.
Yeah, my opinion is like the economies don't change because of presidents, really. Like people like to look at that, but that's my opinion that they really have little to do with economy scale stuff, global economy scale stuff. It's like I think there's always opportunities. It's just like they change. So I mean, what Trump is doing is just it's like changing opportunities, basically.
So I heard some news on Friday that Lindsay hasn't shared with anybody. She's being interviewed by Bigger Pockets.
Oh, that's
She when's the date, Lindsay, again, that it's going to air?
I shared it at this live this morning with
Oh, you did?
but
Oh, you did? I wasn't on there the whole time, so I had to go. So I didn't get to hear that you shared it again.
Yeah, it's supposed to be released on May 12th if nothing changes. But yes, it's the Rookie Podcast by Bigger Pockets.
Congratulations, Lindsay. I watched that, so I'll see it. That's awesome.
I'm not familiar with that. What is that? Is it a podcast? Is that a YouTube channel? Is it something else?
Both. Yeah. It's the Real Estate Rookie on Bigger Pockets. It's sister. It's Ashley Kerr and Jay Robinson. What's his first name? Forgot his name.
I think it's Tony.
Tony, yeah. Guy seems like a nice guy, but man, I would not want to scrap with that dude. He's a big dude.
Yeah, his primary focus is short-term rental.
Yeah, which fun times.
Because after the interview, he sent me an email saying that he wanted to take a look at Gary. So that was kind of like, let's go. Coming to Gary can be quite changing for that city.
I haven't seen Ryan on in a while. all-nighter hider. I know he flew out there a few times, did some stuff. He's in San Diego, but I think he was looking at maybe doing something out there, or maybe did. I can't remember. You guys got all your taxes done, or for those of us that filed extensions, I finally got mine done for the extension, so I was pretty happy
Yeah.
though. I got 71K in write-offs for one house and about 80 some in write-off bonus depreciation on the two houses. So that it's like static, about 150 grand there, and then total expenses about a 210K write-off. So pretty happy.
I'd love to see the cost seg if you are you willing to share a sort of like breakdown.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, doesn't have to be now, but it'd be great to sort of see like because it's a DIY that you're doing, right?
yeah.
You
I
did it through.
switched. I did Koseg Easy the first year because that's what Sam Wiegert was doing. He's been doing that for 15 or however been around. And then I heard from Matt the Lumberjack and oh crap, Bob Langworthy. I just recently got on with those guys after 2 years of begging them to take me on, and finally Matt got me in.
Nice.
um, but they said, yeah, use DIY Cossack also, so that's what I did.
Yeah, I saw that through them, I think as well, and so I was gonna take a look at them.
It was
Not,
easier.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the DIY Cossack was. Oh, I'm on the wrong profile. Whoops. Yeah, it was easier than Cossack Easy. Cossack Easy makes it a little bit more complicated. I mean,
Hmm.
there's some stuff you have to do, but um, it just seemed easier to me compared to Cossack Easy. Of course, if you want to do like Dion, and if he was to do it, which he hasn't, he said he'd just spend the 3 grand and have someone go do it. I'm like, screw that, man. I'll save the 3 grand, spend 500 and call it good. I mean, him, he's far enough along where that's not worth his time, but
Yeah.
me, man, I'm trying to squeeze out every penny.
No, same here. I mean, I don't even have a property. I'm just looking ahead.
That's smart, man.
Trying to see what I need to plan, I guess, to, I mentioned it before that, we're looking to take advantage of the rep status and you know, try to gain as much as possible, but be curious to see how it breaks down and how, in what years. 'Cause do you do that on your own? Can you say, oh, I want like 100% of this or of those
I would,
buckets that you can?
no, I wouldn't do that. I would imagine, because it's rough numbers. If you guys like, let's say you bought a property for, I don't know, $100,000 for easy math. Basically, knock off the now California, New York, that'd be different. But in general,
Yeah.
you can't deduct the land, right? So if your land is worth more than the house, or half the property, well then this isn't going to work. So you just take whatever that percentage is and cut the property off. In my case, it's about 25%. So if I bought a property for 100 grand, which easy math, then 75 grand would be what my basis would be based on the deductions and whatnot. And then based off that, you're probably come out to be like 8 grand or something. You know what I mean? Whatever it is.
Mm.
And I'll give you a real world example, which I screwed up. The cost seg easy, I under cut myself based on the return, the data I got from DIY cost seg was a little bit higher. So, which is weird because this is a 60 or 2024 is a 60% bonus depreciation year. The year I did the 2023 one where I undercut it was less than, and it was an 80% year. So I really screwed myself, but that's okay. I mean, percentage wise, it'll all work out in the wash. But basically, you take that 25 or take whatever the land value is away, whatever the remaining bricks and sticks is worth, and then you're evaluating the refrigerators, the windows, the floors, whatever, the roof. Roof's a 15-year, obviously a 15-year depreciation. So anyway, you do all that math. I'm trying to find the DIY cost seg thing. Oh, here it is. You
How do
guys,
you calculate that value
they
for the
do it.
land?
You
Okay.
put in all the inputs and then it comes back. Oh, the land, you can use like well, I think they put it in based on my zip code, but I think you can go to like maybe the county's assessors. I don't know, maybe somebody on here knows. I don't actually know that, but let's see.
I think I used to see estimates on like Zillow or Redfin, but I believe they took them off because I used to see, oh, like land cost and and how much you're paying in taxes and everything. But um, I am in California, and so I understand that it's a little bit different in terms of skewing the values. But I mean, just for instance, all those places that burned down in LA, out in Malibu and things like that, they're, two, three, four, $5 million houses. Their sticks and bricks are not worth that much. It's the land that costs that much. But I suspect that, you know, house isn't going to cost, 1,500 square foot house is not going to cost north of 300, or 500K, for instance. Um, but I'm just trying to see what, if there's a place, or if someone knew that, if there's a place to get that sort of estimated for the land value, just so I can sort of see what we're looking at
Yeah.
and how many properties I need to buy to offset.
Right. Well, that's part of the reason I switched over to an EA is because I want to have that tax consultant piece. Like
Mhm.
Jeff Nash is great. But if you look at like he's my accountant and he does a lot of real estate, like 75% of his clients are real estate investors and whatnot, and real estate people. But you know, the amount of money you have to pay for his time's $350 an hour and his credentials, if you will. I mean, he's great, but from what I hear, Bob Langworthy is his name, but mainstream or main bean counters is better. And
Mhm.
the annual fee is only $250 more. And I'm like, dude, I'd rather do that and pay him because I've heard good things from Dion and Mike and Matt the Lumberjack and all those guys.
Mhm.
And Matt went through an audit last year, and I don't know how many pages of whatever, but everything was cool. So that's important to me.
Yeah, definitely.
So you guys talk about a topic and bring something up. I'm gonna look for that cost seg thing in my tax folder. So
What's everyone seeing in their markets, like in terms of being able to rent things out? Are you needing to lower your rents, or have things stabilized? I know it's been rocky for a couple months, at least from what I've been hearing. Um,
I don't have enough information in my market. It's such a small area. There's hardly showing anything for rent. So I'm just gambling.
Tim, you're out in Sac,
Yeah,
or
I'm in
you're in like a rural.
Sacramento, but I bought the first property I have is in Calaveras County. So I'm just taking it, I'm going on the assumption, which might not be good, that the lack of rent means that there's a need for it because I can't see anything on any of the sites. And I know a couple people that live up there, and I know a couple property managers too, but I'm going to manage it myself. And
Gotcha.
I'm trying one because I wanted to get into this close to home because I was trying the value add. And then my crews are doing all the work.
Nice.
Yeah, so there was the whole reason of it. If it doesn't work, then I just switch markets. I'm sure I'll be able to get one unit rented,
What is that, like an hour away from you?
hour and a half.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I've got my trailer up there. My buddy has his motorhome up there. Plus, I put two beds for my other two guys in one of the units. So we're all just
Nice.
staying up there throughout the week when we go up. Sorry, I jacked up my shoulder, so it's just I keep rubbing it.
Trying to slowly understand the market out in San Diego. That's sort of where I'm looking at. So,
My brother
um,
lives in San Diego. That's a really expensive market.
yeah, no, it's tough.
I want Jared. I'm wondering if co-living would work out there. San
I
Diego
don't know,
State,
man. You'd
They
have
have
to.
San
it.
Diego State and stuff.
I think they have it, and I think Pace
Yeah.
just recently went down there to do some seminar stuff. Not seminar, but how he sort of goes around and I'm sure talk about subject to. Um, and likely co-living because I've heard there are co-living and I think that they're renting between like 11 to 1300 maybe a room out there, but the places are what 2x what they are in Phoenix, so like you're paying 800K for what a 3-2 maybe a 3-1 depending on where you're at. Um, I haven't studied the market enough for that. But that was something I was going to take a look into if I wanted to try to pivot. Or if I wanted to go like a smaller amount, maybe do like a 6 bed from like a 4 bed or something like that. But I think it's pretty expensive to do out there. Just because land value is higher.
Okay, I found my cost seg. I'll share it out here real quick if you guys want to see it.
Thanks.
Let's see here. Share. There we go. Where the hell is it? There we go. Yeah. So here's kind of the breakdown. So I bought this for, it was listed for 585 and I bought it for 465. So take that into consideration. It's estimated to be like 515 right now, something like that. So it's saying the land value is 90K. Now this is in North Phoenix, so it's Phoenix Metro, and land value blah blah blah. Basis for second 30. Okay, so the basis was 37.1 on a 465 purchase. So the 27-year built 2274. My 15-year, which would be the roof and whatever else they thought was 15-year, probably windows and maybe flooring or something. I don't know. And then here's the 5-year stuff, which actually ended up being quite a bit. So the total, which you saw was that, or is it at 371? I think it works out to be whatever the 60% for 2024. 60%. Well, that can't be right. That's too high. It ended up being about 80 grand is what the write-offs were. So I'm trying to find that in here.
So if I were to understand this, the 5-year just means that you could depreciate that. That number that you have is depreciated over 5 years, right? Or
yeah, so they're pulling it forward in the first year of service for a rental. It can't be a primary, but so like a refrigerator, for example, it costs, I don't know, $1,000 or whatever, right? So that's your over 5 years, that'll be nil, zero, right? And so you're, let's say, so you're pulling that forward, that $1,000, but you can only take 60% of it. So let's just call it $600. That's my understanding. Could be totally wrong. I don't know. Consult your accountant and whoever cost seg person. That's roughly what I'm seeing it as. So instead of depreciating 150 a year or 140 a year or whatever it is, it would end up 5 years gets pulled in. That's the bonus depreciation piece. But if Trump gets this thing passed for the 100%, man, I'm gonna be super happy because I got about one house. I'm trying to get a few more. If that 100% bonus comes in, I could wipe out my whole tax burden, I think.
yeah,
That's the reason I'm buying the $500,000. Well, this last one was 565, but 562. But buying more expensive houses instead of buying a whole bunch of little ones to help out with the tax burden. I don't actually see where this is at. I had a report. The actual report showed 80 grand. They gave me a breakdown of it.
so just like at the end, maybe.
Yeah, let's scroll to the bottom. I don't know what all this crap is. It's like full on crazy. Oh, whoops. Probably went too far. Let's see. Where's the numbers? Oh, here we go. I don't know. Recovery method. TR. I don't know what this means. Non-residential. Oh yeah, this is commercial. But for those that don't know, if you buy a residential property that's a rental, then 27 and a half years, you get 3.5% depreciation a year if you don't do the bonus stuff, which is what Dion does. Maybe I passed it up. It's a lot of data, man. This is way more crap than I got from Cost Seg EZ. Oh, here we go. What's this? 15. Yeah, here gives the breakdown again, but total included study equals purchase price. I don't know. Anyway, all I know, the accountant told me it was 80 grand. So, oh well, that's that. I don't know if that helps or hurts or confuses people or adds more questions. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it showed the breakdown between like 73%, 74%, whatever it was, 9% and 17%. So it looks like they were just seeing how much of that was in the 27 and a half year bucket versus the 9, or the 15-year and the 5-year bucket. So that was just a breakdown between like what percentage of the total house is in those buckets. So that was at least good to know.
Yeah. I thought I bought a brand new AC unit. It was like 7 grand and normally 10, but I know a guy knows a guy. And I also got 2K concessions from the seller. So it only cost me 5 grand. Yeah, wheeling and dealing. But I thought it would be part of the bonus, and it's not. It's CapEx it came off that way. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I don't know if that's because it was a new CapEx expenditure, probably. And therefore probably made better sense to do it that way than it would be any kind of bonus stuff. I'm not an accountant person. I mean, I run the numbers to buy the, but I don't know how all that crap works. That's why I'm like Dion, like pay the accountants and pay the EAs that stuff to have them figured out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't write off. They took the, so I paid off a vehicle in Oregon. I have a vehicle in Arizona, a truck for, transporting things around. That one I could claim, but the Oregon vehicle, even though it's used for real estate, going to events and different things like that, I paid it off because I didn't want to make payments anymore. They said that couldn't be a depreciating asset because it's in Oregon. Something about Oregon. I'm like, son of a. Anyway, so that sucked. But oh well, it is what it was.
Wait, so did you rent a car when you were down there? Because I know you're between Intel's your time at Intel, and you were spending a lot of time down there.
Yeah,
Were you just like,
I bought a truck.
oh, okay,
It's funny because that's how I met my now cleaning lady. Because I went through like 4 cleaning services, and they all sucked, man. They did the job, but they were expensive, and the ROI wasn't there. The value wasn't there.
right?
And so I was looking for trucks, and trucks are beat to shit down there. Like construction crews, summer, they're beat up bad. And I was looking and looking and looking, and so they're like 14, anywhere between 11 and 14 grand for what I was looking for, Chevy, half ton. And I was like, that's insane, man. That's expensive. So kept looking and looking, found this one for 14.5. And I show up this guy's house, and he hands me the keys to take it for a drive. I'm like, and I'm in Phoenix, right? Like, you don't do that because someone's just going to drive off with it, right? So he was like super trusting guy. I was like, all right. So I left the car, my mom's car at the time, left my mom's car there, drove it around. It was pretty good. So came back and bought it. And I said, hey, I got to run to the bank. Went to the bank, got the cash, came back, and his wife had came home. And anyway, we got to talking, and I was telling her, hey, you got to keep her here. This guy's pretty cool. And anyway, talking to her, I talk a lot, obviously. Turns out she's cleaning service, like on the side, and I'm like, huh. I was like, you want to clean one of mine? She's like, yeah. And she was fantastic and like half the price. And I was like, holy crap. And she's great too, man. Like, this is the power of throwing little bonuses or overpaying a little bit. She cares about the quality of her cleaning and also the property. She has great ideas. Just yesterday, she was at the store and she sent me a text of these little bins. We had a situation where just about a week ago, she threw out some like mayonnaise and pickles and stuff because somebody moved out. Well, one of the people in the other rooms was using that shelf because they moved out, and I didn't know that. So now she had this idea about having these bins in case I'm going to look for a different type of fridge that has 4 shelves because I do 4 per refrigerator. And but in the meantime, she's like, hey, what do you think about this? She's always thinking. She puts up signs and things and asks me and everything. I bought her a printer because I was like, yeah, whatever you think, you know what I mean? So she's like almost like my partner, And then
no, that's great.
Yeah, dude. And I pay her extra for the room turns now because she's doing the you guys know what a Kanban board is? It's like project management kind of thing. So she gets the email when somebody moves out. She takes it and moves it through the process, like puts it in, and I don't even have to do it anymore. And so I was like, hey, it's worth it to me to pay you extra to manage that piece because I've got a full-time job. So, and my handyman's the same thing. It's working out pretty good.
Nice.
It's going to be interesting for this next property, though, because it's not going to be in the PadSplit platform. So we'll see.
Right.
I'm really leaning towards Buildium. I've been evaluating different. I think you guys on Skool that posted all the different management software you guys use. Stessa was overwhelmingly the number one. Buildium wasn't even in the list. But I went through Stessa, and right now Stessa doesn't have the automation. They only have bulk changes and things like that, so I didn't like it. And I've evaluated a few others, and they're okay. But Buildium does everything, and I was like, "Holy crap!" So it's like $58 if you do the paid version. It's free for just using the general one. It's $58 for the first one. I think it's like $179 for the second one. But it does everything: the bookkeeping, accounting, the leasing, anything you can think of with and it has automation now too. They just completed that here about a month ago. So, which is what I wanted because I want to be able to set rules so I don't have to sit there and manage crap, and manually, like QuickBooks has it. That's why I want it. because QuickBooks allows me to set a rule, and then every time an expense or income comes in, it categorizes it for me because I don't have time to sit there and confirm every freaking thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, so I don't know if you guys have got off into the weeds and the bookkeeping and the management and finances and stuff, but I kind of had to. Hey, look at that. It's Ryan. Speak of the devil.
Oh, were you speaking of me?
Yeah, a little bit ago we were talking smack. No, I'm just kidding. We were just saying that you're in San Diego, and so I just was talking. Who's in San Diego right now? Did he drop?
I'm looking in San Diego. Yeah.
Oh, it's Kevin. Yeah, okay, Kevin. Oh, there you're at the top.
Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys talk yet?
Yeah,
briefly. Actually, we need to get reconnected again.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice, man. That's what it's all about. That whole your network is your net worth, man. I've learned that 10 times over. It's amazing how often that happens over and over and over again.
Just
Just
don't
like
tell
your
him how I
cleaning
let
lady.
down Lars.
No.
What's that?
Oh man, I let Lars down so bad. He gave me a property, he gave me a listing to look at and a couple of questions, and I just wasn't even able to get to it. It was how busy I was. I felt so bad. It's like I put my name out there. Hey, give me your questions, and I'll be glad to answer them. And then I didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lars. I don't think he's on the call, but
Yeah, he's not on.
yeah, I feel so bad about that. That was like a month ago too.
I think that conversation was the Geary, Indiana conversation, Jared.
Wasn't he looking at the house in Pittsburgh with the septic or the drainage problem?
Yeah, I think he's under
I think
contract.
that's what it was.
Yeah, he finally got it all jetted and taken care of.
Awesome.
Or not jetted, but he had it scoped and they didn't find any issues.
Awesome. Good. So I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, there's only so much we can do from so far away.
Right. I was just so busy, man. My truck had just thrown its tranny, and I just bought a new one with a leaky rear main. And oh, dude, all this traveling, just so much going on all at once.
I've been telling everyone it's all your fault. My transmission just went out, so I'm putting a new transmission in.
It's too bad you guys aren't local. I used to be an automatic transmission tech, and I've got a pretty good discount at the PTW, the Portland Transmission Warehouse. And then also I know a transmission shop over here. A buddy of mine hooks me up. He'll give me without charging me the $500 core deposit. I'll just, and get a discount on the transmission. But
yeah, $7,000 later.
No, I can get an old 700R for like, I don't know, 1,500, $1,600, something like that. And then if you need the new 4L60Es or the 4L80s, yeah, they're like 2,200, his cost basically. So Certas, that's a GM world. I don't know if you're doing Fords or something.
Yeah, mine's a stupid Chevy box van. In that year was horrible, absolutely horrible.
What year?
I think it was 2016 or 17.
Oh, so 4L80E. Right?
Yeah, I have no idea.
The big,
I hate cars with a passion.
Either that or I doubt it's an Allison because there's.
Oh, it's not an Allison. I know that.
Allisons are the shit, dude. I've had a couple of Duramax diesels, and I pull in Jeeps and toy haulers and stuff doing 100 plus, all the way down to Utah. It's like,
yeah. The only reason I put the money into it is I still owe 3 years on it. So this is going to be a 3-year warranty. So I'll beat the crap out of it for the next 2 years and leave it local and hopefully be able to do a write-off on a full truck.
Do you have regular sized tires on this thing, or do you have oversized tires?
They're normal size tires.
Okay, good.
For a 1-ton box van.
Yeah. All that weight, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's got a ton of weight.
Yeah.
I'm having them add leaf springs to it too.
Hey, Jim, since you're on here, this is what they did. This is the after photo. Like I showed you this before. Like here's what was before. This was like just a regular pump. And now this is what the final result is, which is this sewage pump. But they didn't charge me for it, so I can't bitch. They reused the old cord. This looks like a used pump to me, but he said it's new and he'll send me the warranty stuff.
Wait a minute, so that's the actual sewer?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I could not get away with that in California.
Yeah,
no, that's the sealed unit.
Yeah. Also, it smells. Like I couldn't fly because I'm an idiot, And so I had my agent go down, who's more nitpicky than I am, Stephen Gomez. You guys met him once, or he came on here. So he went through and he said everything was good. There's a couple little nitpicky things they're going to fix on Monday, but this is what I ended up with. And it
Yeah,
smelled.
that's health and safety might have a problem with that. You better be careful of that.
I was thinking about, I saw that sealed unit that you sent. I was going to
Yeah.
just, because I looked through the invoice, I didn't see this on there. And it looks like, who knows. But I was thinking about getting a sealed unit, just having a real plumber. I'm a real boy. Have a real plumber come out and seal the unit and put that in there, because this sucks, man.
Well, they're gonna have to jackhammer that out because then they have to get the pipe into the side of it.
Yeah, here's a pipe right here.
Yeah,
this is the inlet pipe,
because that should be solid into the side of that unit, and then it's a sealed unit with gaskets and everything else on it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Whatever it's going to be, I'm going to have to eat it because I don't like this at all. I was assuming that's what they were going to do, but they didn't. So anyway, thanks for all your help, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
It's so awesome having people that know all this different stuff. You know how long that would have taken me to talk to somebody? Probably like an hour. So thanks, man. Hey, I owe you some drinks in Vegas next year. How about that?
Don't talk about drinking, please.
Yeah.
Hard night last night?
No, it was the night before. I couldn't even drink last night. I was taking shots of water just to look like I was doing something.
That's funny.
I wasn't deceiving anybody, but just toasts and shit like that. Yeah. Oh man, that night before, I think it was Saturday night, I was just done.
Is this Rebel Capitalist or one of those type of things?
No, this was a wedding down in Ensenada, Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I guess it was Friday night.
Yeah,
it's Friday night that we showed up down there and just let loose. I don't remember half the night at all. At all. I guess I was doing things that I might not be so proud of.
At least
okay. It's on video.
I'm sure it is too. I haven't looked at all the pictures yet. Yeah.
When is that Rebel Capitalist thing coming up anyway? I'm not going to it, but just curious.
Oh, bummer. That's going to be May 23rd, I think, to the 24th.
Oh, wow.
22nd to the 24th. Yeah, it's coming up real soon. Just a couple weeks.
Hey, does Jeff Snyder clean up for those things?
No, he still looks like Macro Jesus.
Yeah, dude, doesn't even comb his hair, and he moves his head, and his whole head is like static. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's a goofball. He's fun though.
That Steve Van Meter guy, he's pretty, I don't know, monotone, let's say. But he called in about 2 years ago, and one of those channels were Gammon and Jeff and there's a whole panel of people. And he called in. He was at a bar somewhere in like Mexico or Costa Rica. Oh, he's in Costa Rica, and he was about half rocked. He seemed like he was pretty cool. He's like, not his normal monotone voice, right? He's sitting on the beach at a bar, and he's like just half in the bag. It's pretty funny.
That's hilarious. That might have been him at Disney World, because he moved to Florida, and now he's got this Disney World index that he's doing where he literally wants to do 365 days at Disney World and see the attendance per day.
Wow.
And that's his Disney World index. Yeah. So he would frequently call in and that would be his setting with a bunch of people in the background. He doesn't have a shirt on or anything because he's at the bar, and he's at the I don't know, the water park or something like that is where he would normally be. Yeah, that was funny.
One thing about him is I have a guess, right? If you sign up for his CTA thing or whatever, his stock stuff, he's got like a list of 20 things that you should buy. And then if you watch his videos, he's always got some fear thing going on or whatever, and that's fine. But he always calls out, look, we told our investors to buy this. But I always wonder, what were the other 19 like?
Right.
He always cherry picks the ones that have like a 7 to 10% return in like a week or whatever the hell it was. And I'm like, yeah, but what is the other 19? What's the law of averages here? So
yeah, you're not talking to angel investors that are willing to have 19 losses and one giant win.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not all doom and gloom, but he never calls that out. I just curious if it looks like we're losing people. I went off into the stock side. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Yeah. Back to real estate. Coming back here, I saw a bandit sign that I need to go and I wasn't driving, so I wasn't able to stop. But I need to go and get get a picture of it and go contact them.
What for? Just to network with them or see what they're doing?
Yeah, just to see what they're up to. The bandit sign said, I think it was "fixer up for sale," and it was just a bandit sign, so it's nothing professional.
Oh, I thought you were saying, hey, we buy houses. No, I didn't realize they're selling bandit signs. That's interesting.
Yep, fixer upper for sale. So hey, that's kind of something I'm looking for.
Nice.
So,
Which area?
Otay Mesa.
Okay, got it. Nice.
It was right off Orange Avenue and the 805. So yeah, I'll need to get back there and go take a picture of the sign and call them up and see what they have.
All righty. Well,
Anybody else chasing bandit signs?
I saw one actually down in that Claremont area that I'm looking at. And there it was for sale by owner, so I gave them a call. They're asking for a ridiculous price, but it was in the area.
Yeah, Claremont is a nice area. That's where Fast Times at Ridgemont High was filmed.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it was filmed there, but it was based off of Claremont High School.
Don't worry about it, man. My dad's got a bitchin' set of tools. when they crashed
get that jacket.
Yeah. They crashed up that Trans Am, and then that was the best move ever. They put it in front of the school, right? The other team. I'm gonna have to watch that again. Spicoli and
yeah, that was his best role.
yeah, I probably yeah. The Cars, then they have that song, the hit song from that thing. When that guy died, the lead singer from the Cars, they couldn't say how old he was because they didn't have any record of his birth. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah. They estimated in his late 60s, early 70s. They didn't know. So I was like, wow, there's a guy that stayed off the grid.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that.
My uncle he just passed away about 2 years ago, diabetes. But he lived his whole life without paying taxes and his whole life under the radar. Now, granted, most of that was illegal, wacky tobacco farmer in Kentucky, but hey.
Yeah, providing value.
Yeah. Enlightenment value, apparently. Well, cool, guys. We're at 2:00. I don't know if you guys have anything, topics, whatever. We lost about half the crowd, so could call it a short day.
Yeah, I gotta go back to work.
Jim's got to go make a buck. Hey, thanks a lot, Jim. I appreciate the advice, man.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got to file a 501c3. I've been talking about this for way too long. I need to do it.
Yeah,
get after it.
Those are a pain in the ass.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I was on soccer things for 18 years. They're nice and fun.
All right, we'll get after it, guys. We'll see you next week.
Okay, later.
All right, take it easy.
See you guys.
Bye.